WalletHub and CoStar put together a few articles discussing some of the best areas where people are still moving to, and you bet, Raleigh and surrounding areas was on that list. There was also an article WalletHub did for first-time homebuyers that discussed where first-time homebuyers should purchase. And what do you know? Raleigh was on that list too as a top 25. And surprisingly, Cary found his way on that list as well. Now, if you're new to me in this YouTube channel, we talk about everything you need to know about Raleigh, North Carolina. So make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss out. But also, I am a licensed realtor, so if you do need any assistance, need help on your relocation, just reach out. What was happening in 2020 kind of continue all throughout. To explain a bit for those that may not know what was happening during 2020, not so much of what was going on with COVID, but more or less what was happening in Raleigh. People were moving here consistently. Homes were receiving offers before even hitting the market. And if a home did hit the market, it was probably lasting only throughout the weekend, because at that point in time, come Monday, it was already under contract. There were many announcements from big corporations stating that they're going to be relocating to North Carolina. Let's just say, in all, it was a lot going on during 2020 from every aspect that you can think of. But I'm not quite sure why or how did North Carolina end up on everyone's radar. Because one thing I could definitely say, a lot of people made it happen. And in fact, what do you think? It's still going on to this day. As you can imagine, during 2020, people were moving to areas like Colorado, Florida, North Carolina, Texas. But many people were leaving those big states like New York and California. And for personal experience, I had a lot of conversations with those two individuals that moved from New York and California. And there's many different reasons. We're not going to get into the details of that today. And as I mentioned a little bit earlier, I believe, personally speaking, that this growth, everyone moving into North Carolina, is going to continue. It may not be as chaotic or as frequently as it was in the past, but given the amount of opportunity Raleigh has coming into the future, I mean, there is no slowing down at all when it comes to growth. But let's look at things from a different perspective really quickly and look post-COVID, so in 2023 and onward. And let's see specifically, how does North Carolina stand against those other areas that we've talked about a lot of people are moving to. It may not be everyone's cup of tea, but people are still moving to Raleigh on a daily basis. I mean, did you really think people were going to go back to where they came from prior to 2020 after experiencing North Carolina? I mean, for anyone that did such a thing, it had to have been a job requirement for you to go back. Of course, people are leaving for various different reasons, but there's way more people coming into North Carolina than leaving North Carolina. You guys can actually take a look at this map here, and where you can see exactly where people are moving to when they decide to leave that Raleigh area. And in fact, you can see they don't go too far. But to give you a little bit of perspective of how many people are moving here to the Raleigh area on a daily basis, there has been estimates of about 70 people moving to this area. And now if you're one of them, that number that is popping up right there, make sure to give me a call, shoot me a text, email, and share with me a few things about yourself, what you're looking to do, what you're trying to be around, so that we can make sure that you are in that area. As you know, I am a licensed realtor here, so I can help you guys with all of your relocation needs. At this point, you've heard that people are moving into Raleigh, but you really want to focus in on why are people actually leaving. Now, individuals leave for their own reason. There's various amounts of reasons that someone can move in and out of a city or a state. However, here are a few things that I've seen to be a common reason why people leave: for better opportunities elsewhere, affordability, not as much things to do as they originally thought in the Raleigh area. They don't fit in with the culture. The weather is probably not what they expected. And the pollen, I mean, whew. That's a whole nother conversation that we'll leave for another day, but just know pollen has the ability to kick people out, especially if you have terrible allergies. And then we can't forget this one, the school system's actually being too full to the point where they are at capacity. And of course, if you cannot get into the school that you're looking to be in, that can obviously cause some sort of issues there as well. But as I mentioned earlier, you can see that many people don't go that far. So that does say something about North Carolina and the surrounding areas in itself. To say the least, though, I'm not here to go back and forth with the pros and cons of living in Raleigh, North Carolina. I did a video on this that I'll go ahead and tag above that you guys can go ahead and check out once this video is all said and done. So ultimately, to answer the question in short, yes, people are still moving to the Raleigh area, and they're moving for various different reasons. Some of the common reasons are it's still being ranked as one of the best places to live. I did talk earlier about the opportunities in terms of growth when it comes to large corporations relocating here, so that's definitely a window that has definitely opened for a lot of individuals, and quite frankly, most employers are relocating people into this area. Also, with all the development going on, a lot of people are interested, including myself, in fact, what Raleigh is going to be in the future, because I'm sure there's going to be a ton more things to do, see, and attract on a regular basis. And then we can't forget, for those individuals that love, not maybe being in humidity, but love being in nice weather where they don't have to go outside and think about what the weather's going to be like today or prepare themselves for it. That's one of the big reasons why a lot of individuals that I actually speak to, they always talk about the weather. It's good here. And last but not least, but many individuals seek for the quality of life that North Carolina provides to you. Now, for those who feel indifferent with what I just said, please don't jump at me because you may not enjoy the lifestyle anymore. Instead, how about you let everyone else know in the comments below why you feel that way so everybody can understand and hear from your perspective. Since we all need shelter, real estate is typically the nail in the coffin to decide whether an area is for you or not. As far as real estate goes in the Raleigh area, the affordability in comparison to the larger cities is still less, but yes, let's not forget the fact that it has been more than it's ever been in the past. 2020 was a different type of time to be purchasing real estate, which it was pretty chaotic, but now, as I'm recording this video in September of 2023, it is not like that. In fact, you have a little bit more time to do a little bit of shopping to make sure that this is something that you want to move forward with and not being pressured into making any sort of decision simply because there's not as many offers that you are going to have to be competing with. Now, of course, you're probably still going to have to be competing with somebody somewhere, given that 70 people are moving here on a regular basis. It's just not as often. So that going over 20, 30, 50,000 over asking, that type of time isn't as relevant. So be sure to research other areas and find out all that you can about Raleigh, North Carolina, because you have the time now. North Carolina isn't going anywhere. In fact, it is making its mark now by continuously putting itself on the map, by being innovative, getting more opportunities for others, ultimately being the place that everybody wants to be. But just as much as I enjoy making these videos for you guys, my name is Roney Polynice, and I would love nothing more but the opportunity to be able to assist you with any of your relocation needs. So you see that number that is popping up right there? Make sure to give me a call, shoot me a text, email, day or night, heck, maybe even on the weekends. Always remember one thing: I got your back in this market.